Hey friends, Jill here. It is such a beautiful, slow morning on the farm. I talked to you guys a few weeks ago about really just kind of embracing this beautiful, simple life. I got up this morning, I made my coffee, I watched the bees and the butterflies pollinate the dahlias. I've been harvesting some blackberries, which are quite literally probably some of the best blackberries I've tasted in my entire life. So these varieties, they bloom twice a year. They bloom in the summer and then they bloom in the fall, which is so encouraging because it's that taste of summertime when the seasons are starting to change. I don't have a bunch here, but I've been getting a good bowl full about every day. So what I'm actually gonna do with these is we're gonna go back inside and I'm gonna freeze dry these. The kids really enjoy these as a snack. I don't have enough to make like a cobbler, and I did try to save a bunch throughout the week, and then some of them have already gone bad. So June likes to eat them fresh, but I thought freeze drying them might be the best option. So let's grab our coffee and let's head back in the house. So another thing we're doing to kind of promote simplicity and intentionality is we've been like setting the table. So I've got a candle. I've been harvesting the last bit of dahlia. So I've got some basil, some goldenrod. Just being intentional about making arrangements. I've been trying to keep fresh bread out and some good butter. And then usually over here I'll have like little snacks. So I'll have usually like a bowl of nuts or fruits. But it is something that we have actually really enjoyed. So while it might seem simple to say pursue intentionality in your day-to-day life, many of us, I feel like, forget to do that because we live in a culture and a time where everyone's busy. Like if you ask someone, how are you doing or what's new? Usually always the response is going to be like, oh, we're good. We're just so busy. Life's so crazy. And Nathan and I are certainly guilty of doing that too. And so we kind of just made a pact after HOA that we were going to really be intentional. We were going to set the dinner table. We were going to light the candles. We were going to turn off our phones. We were just going to really enjoy this beautiful life that we've created and we've been given to steward. And I am happy to report that we've actually been doing it. And this is something that has brought me so much joy. I like never even owned candles. So I went into the store and I bought some local candles. Having just the fresh bread out where the kids can come eat it, like just the whole thing literally has just made me so incredibly happy, and I cannot recommend it enough to you guys. Like for me, it's setting the table and having time to be intentional around the dining room table. But for some of you guys, it may not be this. It may be waking up in the morning and having coffee and quiet time with your family. It may be gathering around in the living room at night and talking about your day. Like it can look so different to so many different people, but this is kind of what's worked well for our family. Yeah, and I just couldn't recommend it enough. So while I'm going to keep enjoying this, I am going to actually get to the video, and we are going to freeze dry those blackberries, and then I have some kiwis that the kids wanted and then of course never ate them. So I do really like the freeze dryer for that. If you've got any leftover things that are about to go bad, bananas, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, kiwis, fruits, veggies, doesn't matter. We always kind of pop it in the freeze dryer so that we're not like wasting any food. So I'm just laying out my blackberries here. They will expand a little bit, so I'm giving them a little bit of room. And then something that we always do, because we just find that you have greater success in our opinions, is we freeze it before. So I'm doing this now so I can pop it in the freezer, and then in the morning, so we'll just pop it in the freezer overnight, and then in the morning I'll come back through and pop it in the freeze dryer for probably about 24 hours. Seems to do the trick for most of our fruits. So just laying them out here. Now I'm going to move on to the kiwis. I have actually never freeze-dried kiwis, so this is kind of an experiment. I am going to go ahead and peel the outside and cut them into these small little circles, essentially. Alrighty, so the freeze dryer holds 4 trays at a time. I've got my 2 behind me, but it's really not worth it to me until I like to run it until I have all 4 trays filled. So I harvested a bunch of food yesterday. I ended up making 2 gallons of pickles. So I have got them in these half-gallon jars. So a ton of cucumbers. But I ripped out all of my Carmen pepper plants, so the ones that were vining up. And so I'm actually just gonna cut these up. I prefer these in the freeze dryer over the dehydrator because they're bigger, they have like tougher skin walls, and so I find that the freeze dryer does better. So I'm gonna chop up some of these and throw them in there as well. That way I can just kind of add them to my stash. All right, you guys, that's a wrap. I'm about to pop these in the freezer and then they'll go in the freeze dryer in the morning. I will give you guys an update later this week on the vlog, but thanks for hanging out with me this morning. As it was just a slow, intentional morning, I'm gonna take time to do more of these, document them, and hopefully encourage you all to do the same. But thanks for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you soon.